In the quiet hills of Diyarbakır province, Turkey, a tiny village hides a dark secret, one that would shatter families, ignite national outrage, and leave a trail of unanswered questions. What started as a simple walk home from Quran lessons turned into an 18-day nightmare of deception, betrayal, and murder. But who could have imagined that the real monsters were hiding in plain sight, within her own family? This is a tragic story of Narin Güran, a tale of power, lies, and a shocking conspiracy that still haunts Turkey today. The Güran family was said to be direct descendants of Molla Gurani, a prominent 15th century religious scholar of the Ottoman Empire, who served as Seyhil Islam during the reign of Sultan Mehmed II. Narin was the only daughter among their 6 children. The family had endured tragedy before. Their previous and only other daughter, who would have been Narin's older sister, was born with severe disabilities and passed away in 2007. The Güran family held significant influence within their village. Narin's uncle, Selim Güran, served as the Mudir village head, and they were likely the wealthiest family in the area. They owned large amounts of farmland, a busy cafe and restaurant on the banks of the Tigris River, often rented out for weddings, and reportedly ran luxury car dealerships in both Diyarbakır and Şanlıurfa. In Tavşantepe, a small rural community, children often began working at a young age, helping in the fields or carrying water containers and irrigation equipment. Narin, however, was an exception. Her father gave her special treatment, allowing her to stay home and avoid farm work, unlike her older brothers. On August 21st, 2024, at 3:12 p.m., Narin attended her Quran lessons at the local mosque, part of her summer routine. The mosque was only 900 meters from her home, a walk that should have taken just 10 to 15 minutes. At 4:39 p.m., her father posted the following message to a local social media group. Missing. Name, Narin, from Tavşantepe, Kalay village in Diyarbakır Center, 7 to 8 years old. Missing since around 4 o'clock after leaving Quran lessons on August 21st. We await news from anyone who has seen or heard anything. Father, Arif Güran. The family began searching for Narin themselves, visiting common gathering spots for local children and speaking to relatives, neighbors, and other villagers. When their efforts failed, they contacted the police at around 8 p.m. The authorities were immediately suspicious. In Tavşantepe, it was normal for children to spend time outside after lessons, so the social media post just an hour after Narin's absence seemed unusually alarmed. This was especially odd coming from a family for whom Narin's short absences were not unusual. Strangely, despite this early panic, they delayed several hours before finally notifying the police. It was also noted that Narin's father, who was out of town at the time, was not informed by his own family about her disappearance. He only learned the news through a neighbor. By the morning of August 22nd, a large search operation was underway. Teams from Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, AFAD, firefighters, and medical responders scoured Tavşantepe and the surrounding area. Searchers focused on natural hazards and remote locations, checking bodies of water, abandoned buildings, barns, vineyards, gardens, and even descending into wells. Narin's father publicly stated he believed his daughter had been kidnapped and expressed willingness to pay any ransom. During the search, police discovered a single sandal approximately 3 kilometers outside of Tavşantepe. At first, Narin's family identified the sandal as belonging to the missing girl. By August 24th, the case had gained significant attention. Both the governor of Diyarbakır and the mayor of Diyarbakır city personally visited Narin's father. Investigators also obtained CCTV footage showing Narin leaving at 3:15 p.m. with 4 of her friends before she separated from them and took a path along the hilltop to walk home. Police then discovered bloodstains on some rocks in the village. Around the same time, Narin's family suddenly reversed their earlier statement about the sandal, claiming it actually belonged to another child with a different shoe size and was irrelevant to the investigation. On August 25th, authorities confirmed that the blood found on the rocks was not Narin's. It had come from a nosebleed another child experienced around the same time. Over the following days, the search operation expanded significantly. Drones were deployed to scan the rural landscape. Search dogs were brought in to track Narin's scent, and specialized teams combed through dangerous areas of the terrain. Investigators also examined phone records and digital data, accessing as much information as the law allowed in hopes of uncovering clues about her disappearance. In total, police interviewed between 250 and 276 individuals, including relatives, teachers, immediate family members, neighbors, friends, and local market vendors present at the time of Narin's disappearance. Even Turkish military commandos joined the search effort. Underwater dive teams were dispatched as well, searching a 20-kilometer stretch of canal starting near the village. Even when the water proved too deep or the flow too fierce for divers to navigate safely, the police took an extraordinary step. They brought in a massive excavator to claw at the riverbed itself, determined to uncover any clue hidden beneath the silt. The search for Narin Güran was relentless. Police zeroed in on a critical lead. 150 vehicles passed through the road near Tavşantepe around the time Narin vanished on August 21st, 2024. Every driver was tracked down and questioned, their stories dissected for any hint of the truth. But the effort didn't stop there. Over 12,565 vehicles were searched, and 32,952 individuals, from villagers to passers-by, faced intense scrutiny. 7 search dogs combed 11,000 acres of rugged terrain, guided by the thrum of helicopters overhead, scanning every inch for a trace of the missing girl. It was a manhunt unlike any Tavşantepe had ever seen, an all-out war against the unknown. Yet, despite the massive operation, Narin remained elusive. The deeper they searched, the more a haunting suspicion emerged. Were the clues pointing not to a stranger, but to those closest to Narin? The search for Narin Güran spilled far beyond the 90 houses of Tavşantepe. By late August 2024, the city of Diyarbakır became a canvas for her face. Buses carried double-sided missing person flyers, visible to passengers inside and passers-by outside, pleading for any clue to the 8-year-old's whereabouts. No stone was left unturned. Police even descended on Tavşantepe Cemetery, armed with ground-penetrating radar, probing freshly dug graves for the unthinkable. Had someone hidden Narin's body in sacred ground? The net was cast wide. But on August 27th, the focus snapped back to the heart of the village. Police arrested Tavşantepe's mooter, 46-year-old Selim Güran, Narin's uncle and the village's powerful headman since 2019, after defeating the previous mooter in the local elections. His predecessor had been serving since 1977. He also had a personal connection with the local police commander. Regarding the evidence pointing to Selim's involvement, police discovered bloodstains on the driver's seat and inside the doors of his car during their search. DNA tests confirmed the blood was Narin's, and Selim could not explain its presence, especially since he had previously claimed Narin was never in his vehicle. Additionally, Selim had deleted all his phone call records up to that point, raising further suspicion. Police also reviewed CCTV footage from the school, recorded at 6:47 p.m., showing a 9-year-old friend of Narin talking to her, though Narin herself was just out of the camera's frame. 12 minutes later, at 6:59 p.m., another CCTV camera captured Selim's car leaving the village. The following day, on August 28th, authorities arrested another of Narin's relatives, her 18-year-old brother, Enes Güran, who, notably, lived in Malatya, not Tavşantepe. In 2023, Enes moved out of the family home in Tavşantepe following a debt dispute with his father. His arrest on August 28 came after police noticed 2 distinct bite marks on his arm. Enes was taken to the Istanbul Forensic Medicine Institute for analysis of the bite marks, but he was released on August 29 after tests found no trace of Narin's DNA in the marks. The police couldn't identify who caused the bites, as Enes had reportedly showered 3 times, potentially compromising any DNA evidence. According to Ali Reza Güran, another relative, Enes suffered a nervous breakdown over Narin's disappearance, threw his phone on the ground and bit himself. There were also claims that Enes's mother had bitten him, but the origin of the bite marks was never conclusively determined. On August 31st, due to growing suspicions about Narin's family, police summoned every relative for questioning. Narin's mother, 44-year-old Yüksel Güran, and her father were released, but several other relatives, particularly Selim, who was the first arrested and considered the most suspicious, remained in custody for further interrogation. Salim's statements were inconsistent, but he claimed he drove away in his car 15 minutes after Narin was last seen and that his phone was off for an hour. His attorney challenged the DNA evidence, arguing it was inaccurate and that Salim was wrongfully detained. On September 2nd, police searched Salim's home and those of other relatives, but no new evidence was found. On September 5th, the 9-year-old friend who was reportedly seen talking with Narin before Salim left Tavşantepe retracted her statement. She told police she wasn't speaking with Narin and that Salim had instructed her to pretend she was and to tell police as much. The girl said she complied out of fear of Salim. By September 7th, the investigation into Narin's family continued, while the search for Narin herself had grown to involve thousands of personnel. That day, an anonymous tip suggested searching Ecirtutmaz Creek, 1.5 to 2 kilometers from Tavşantepe, although the creek had been searched multiple times during the 18-day effort. Police decided to investigate again. On September 8th, a team of 5 underwater divers explored the creek bed and found a sack hidden under 3 stones weighing 30, 25, and 20 kilograms, covered with brush along the stream bank. The sack's unusual placement prompted the team to retrieve and open it, revealing the decomposing body of a young child inside. The body was identified as Narin's, a young girl whose death was caused by a combination of suffocation from her mouth and nose being covered and strangulation. Her left leg was broken and severed at the kneecap, though the coroner attributed this to animal activity rather than dismemberment. Some of her teeth were missing from her skull, but were found inside the sack, along with her belongings, including slippers or sandals and a bag. The autopsy showed no signs of physical abuse during her life or sexual assault. Of the 91 samples taken, no foreign DNA, such as blood, was found. However, hairs in Narin's palm and on her shorts yielded mitochondrial DNA matching Narin, her mother Yüksel, and her brother Enes. Following the identification, police sealed off all entrances and exits to Tavşantepe to prevent suspects from fleeing and arrested 24 individuals, primarily Narin's family members, including her mother, father, brothers, and uncles, as well as the village imam. Despite many relatives participating in the search, authorities believed they were deliberately undermining it with false leads and diversions. For instance, false reports claimed a child slipper was found near a tent housing Syrian workers. On August 23rd, a fire, later deemed arson, broke out in Tavşantepe, diverting search resources. Unusual power outages also disrupted efforts. Another false tip suggested 2 individuals were seen taking a young girl to Upper Tavşantepe. An attempt were made to divert the search away from Ecirtutmaz Creek. As previously noted, Salim allegedly coerced Narin's 9-year-old friend into falsely claiming she was speaking with Narin. When police announced the discovery of Narin's body, Nevzat Badiyar, a 43-year-old neighbor of the Güran family, came forward with a confession. Badiyar confessed not to Narin's murder, but to helping hide her body. CCTV footage showed his car near the location where Narin's body was found for 50 minutes, 25 minutes after her disappearance. He initially claimed Salim brought Narin's body to him in a car and offered 200,000 Turkish lira to dispose of it, leading to Nevzat's swift arrest. By September 11th, Nevzat changed his story, alleging Salim coerced him into hiding the body by threatening to obliterate his family. Verifying this was difficult since Nevzat, like Salim, had deleted his calls and texts before his arrest. However, Nevzat noted red marks around Narin's neck indicating strangulation, details not yet public at the time of his arrest. Nevzat, an electrician struggling financially, was rumored to have ties to Hezbollah. On September 13th, police arrested Salim's 15-year-old employee, Ramazan Atasoy, after recovering deleted text messages from Salim's phone that read, "Hasn't reached me yet. Not dead yet." Ramazan was charged with destroying evidence, having deleted his correspondence with Salim and sold his phone shortly after. By October 6th, police compiled phone data from August 21st, combined with CCTV footage, and concluded the following. Narin was last seen at 3:15 p.m. on the school CCTV. Between 3:15 and 3:35 p.m., Yüksel, Narin's mother, called Salim 3 times. Phone data showed Salim and Nevzat's phones pinging at Narin's home around 3:21 and 3:46 p.m. That day, the household used an unusually high amount of water. 6 suspects, including Salim and Ramazan, deleted their phone data, with some purchasing new phones and Ramazan selling his. On October 7th, police seized a CCTV hard drive from Salim's home, which contained 15 days of recordings. 8 days' worth, mostly after Narin's disappearance, had been deleted. The case stunned Turkey, becoming one of its most notorious crimes, especially as nearly Narin's entire family was arrested. President Erdogan made multiple statements, and protests demanding justice, alongside vigils, erupted across the country. Due to the case's high-profile nature, the prosecution rushed to trial, with proceedings opening at the Diyarbakır 8 High Criminal Court on November 7, 2024. Nearly all defendants, including Narin's family, pleaded not guilty, claiming police tortured them to extract confessions. They insisted they resisted without confessing. NS went further, alleging police filmed his mother, Yüksel, being beaten and tortured, showing in the videos to pressure confession. Police and prosecutors strongly denied these claims. Nevzat was the only defendant to admit any involvement, stating he entered the Güran family home and found Narin already dead. He claimed Salim confessed to killing Narin because she witnessed Yüksel having an affair with him, a motive potentially supported by rumors of Salim's prior affair with another relative's wife. Based on CCTV footage and phone records, the prosecution estimated the murder occurred within a 33-minute window, suggesting the family acted to conceal the affair and protect their reputation. Nevzat further alleged Salim admitted to strangling Narin, a claim the family uniformly denied. Defense attorneys challenged the prosecution's case, arguing the DNA evidence from Salim's car was unreliable since Narin had been in the vehicle before, and DNA from other relatives was present due to Salim frequently driving them. No direct evidence, like a murder weapon or DNA from Narin's body, conclusively linked the defendants to the crime. Nevzat, the primary witness, was unreliable due to his inconsistent statements. No other witnesses provided definitive testimony implicating the family. The text messages from Ramazan, including "not dead yet," were argued to be mistranslated from Kurdish and unrelated to Narin. Additionally, the HTSL records were deemed unreliable due to frequent outages, creating gaps in phone location data and undermining the prosecution's timeline. The defense further argued that the police investigation was less thorough than claimed. Initially, for the first few days, authorities assumed no foul play, failing to properly secure the Güran family home after arrests and only noticing NS's bite marks 7 days later. As previously noted, no evidence confirmed Narin bit NS, as neither NS's DNA nor skin samples were found on Narin's teeth. Additionally, the CCTV cameras central to prosecution's timeline had incorrect timestamps, displaying a time 6 minutes ahead, a discrepancy that could significantly alter the case but was not adequately investigated. The family claimed they were victims of conspiracy targeting their influential status and the strategically important location of Tavşantepe village. Narin's father, one of the few family members not charged, disputed the narrative of their power, stating, "We could have found our daughter by ourselves if we were that powerful." He became ill during Nevzat's testimony about the alleged affair and had to be escorted out of court, with Nevzat admitting only to hiding Narin's body after her death and all other defendants maintaining their innocence. The exact events of that day remain unclear. Nevertheless, the evidence persuaded the Diyarbakır 8th High Criminal Court. On December 28, 2024, all defendants were found guilty of Narin Güran's murder and received the following sentences. On December 28, 2024, the Diyarbakır 8th High Criminal Court handed down sentences for Narin Güran's murder. Salim Güran, Narin's uncle, received an aggravated life sentence, 23 hours in solitary confinement, for directly murdering her. Narin's mother, Yüksel Güran, and brother, Enes Güran, also received aggravated life sentences. Nevzat Badiyar, convicted of destroying evidence and hiding Narin's body, was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. None of these four were eligible for parole or sentence reduction. The remaining defendants were tried and sentenced separately at later dates for their roles in destroying evidence and aiding Salim. with some contributing to false leads and diversions, such as the arson fire in Tavşantepe, or spying on police to report investigation progress. Their sentences were as follows. Ramazan Atasoy, a minor and Salim's employee, received 1 year and 3 months for destroying evidence. Mehmet Salim Atasoy, another of Salim's workers, was sentenced to 3 years. Ibrahim Halil Güran, Narin's uncle, received 3 years. Gif Güran, Narin's sister-in-law, was given 3 years and 6 months. Sema Kaya, Narin's cousin, received 3 years. Ike, an underage cousin, was sentenced to 1 year and 8 months. Milay Güran, another underage cousin, received 1 year and 8 months. Mehmet Sepik Kaya, Salim's brother-in-law, was given 3 years. Omer Faruk Güran, Narin's uncle, received 3 years. Bariz Güran, another uncle, was sentenced to 3 years. Kurtulus Güran, also an uncle, received 3 years. Fut Güran, another uncle, was given 3 years and 6 months. Masala Güran, Salim's sister-in-law, received 3 years and 6 months. Bursin Güran, Narin's cousin, was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months. Muhammad Kaya, another cousin, received 3 years. These convictions reflected the court's determination that the defendants, primarily Narin's relatives and associates, played various roles in obstructing the investigation or aiding the crime, contributing to one of Turkey's most infamous criminal cases. All 19 defendants appealed their convictions to the first criminal chamber of the Diyarbakır Regional Court Justice, which upheld the sentences on May 26, 2025. However, the court ruled that Salim and Yüksel were not having an affair, stating they fabricated this claim to Nevzat to conceal the real reason for Narin's murder. This admission, implying no clear motive was established, was seen by many as strengthening the defense's case for further appeals. Notably, the lead judge dissented, advocating for a retrial based on the defense's arguments from the initial trial. The defendants then appealed to the Turkish Court of Cassation, their final opportunity for appeal, which is yet to hear the case. The prosecutor described the case as a murder without a killer, despite securing convictions, highlighting lingering uncertainties. In fact, many also ponder whether justice was truly served. There is a decent number of people who think the family might be innocent. Unsurprisingly, Narin's father is one of them. The Court of Cassation has yet to hear their case. The unresolved questions surrounding Narin Güran's tragic murder continue to haunt this case, leaving many to wonder if the truth was overshadowed by haste, bias, or a rush to judgment. Was justice truly served? Or is this a story of a family wrongfully condemned? What changes do you think are needed in the justice systems to prevent such uncertainties? Share your thoughts in the comment below, and subscribe for more stories of true crime that demand to be retold. Thanks for watching.